Well, the fire's going. It's a cool autumnal day, although quite bright outside. I think it's time to cook. And it's sort of a roast without being a roast. So what do I mean? A roast without being a roast? Yeah, sounds a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it? What I actually mean is I'm going to do it in the oven. I'm going to have roasted vegetables, and the chicken I'm using will be roasted, but it's not as a roast. It'll be individual pieces. And what I'm doing today is stuffed chicken thighs with roasted vegetables and a few green beans on the side. So what ingredients am I using today? You may be asking. Well, here's my chicken thighs, a couple of parsnips, one big carrot cut up and one big potato, or large potato, it's not huge, one egg, one onion. I'm probably only going to use half of that onion, but we'll see. 2 Irish sausages. So I think Irish sausages is the closest thing to buying pork sausage meat, flavour-wise. Now, normally I'd use white bread for making breadcrumbs with, but guess what? I don't have any white bread. This is a malted bloomer. It's the crust. So I'm going to use the crust to make the breadcrumbs with. Some thyme and some sage. And a clove of garlic. Now, there will be other things I will be using, like salt and pepper and some other seasonings. This is the main parts that you need to know. Most people got salt and pepper, etc. Anyway, just sitting around. Shall we get on with it? I guess we should. So, let's start, shall we? Number 1, I'm going to bone the chicken thighs. Right, where was I? Oh, that's right, I was boned out these thighs, wasn't I? I just got a phone call from a friend of mine, and he's just offered to put me up for the few days when my boat's out the water being blacked. So how great is that? That's going to save me 300 quid on a hotel. So that's the first one boned, and I'll get back to you when I've done the others. So there we have it. There's my 3 thighs on the slab there, or on the chopping board. I'm going to just tap them out a little bit. I'll just pound them out a little bit, just to flatten them off a little bit. It just makes them a little bit easier to roll up with the sausage meat inside. Or I say sausage meat, I mean my stuffing filling. So let's get to that. So I don't have a meat pounder or anything like that, so I'm going to have to improvise. But what I do is, so what I'm hitting it with doesn't stick to the chicken. You can cover it with cling film or something, but I just find using this small board, slide a plastic bag over the top of it. Hey presto, we've got it done. So I've come up with a couple of options. Do I use the hammer? Or shall I use the rolling pin? I think I should use the rolling pin, don't you? I think that will do. So one done, I'll get on and do the other 2. So there we have it. That's all 3 now, pounded out, ready to go. Now time to make the stuffing. So I've just got my food processor out. I'm going to take the onion out. I'm only going to use half of it because I don't think I need it all. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to actually do the bread first, because I only want to use half the bread for the stuffing and half the bread is going to be used for the breading, because I'm going to actually bread these little babies as well when I cook them. So I'm going to grind the bread down first. Let's break down the smaller pieces. It just helps with it. Food processor, breaking it down quicker. Put it in the right place. Right, turn that on. Right, as that is at the moment, it's quite coarse, and that's perfect for the stuffing, but not for the breading. So I'm going to take half of that out now. I say half of it, about half of it anyway. That should be enough for the stuffing mix. Put this back on. And now I shall grind it a bit finer for the actual breading I'm going to put on the... Didn't get that box in properly. There we go. Right, now it's much finer. That would be perfect for doing my breading mix with. Not super fine, because if you go too fine, it goes a bit harder on the outside. But if you leave it like that, you get a few crispy bits on it, which is how I like it. So now I have my 2 bowlfuls of breadcrumbs, the finer and the coarse. And the coarse is going to go back in there, but not yet. Right, I've actually cut the onion in half that way, because the other half I'm going to throw in with my vegetables, and I'll have it as a cooked vegetable with the carrots and the parsnips and everything else. So I'm just going to chop that in half again. I've just made that into a little bit smaller pieces. I've got my garlic there as well, which is going in. So I'll take my sage leaves and put those in. The sage is getting a bit old this time of the year, but it's still got all the flavour. My thyme. I think I've got too much thyme here. But put a little bit more in. That will do. A little sea salt. Some freshly ground black pepper. I like quite a lot of pepper in mine. Then we're going to give that a little blitz. A little bit more. Yep. Now I'm going to add the sausage. I'll take the skins off. I'm not going to add the sausage. I'm going to add the breadcrumbs. Oh dear. I'm having a good day, am I? So now I'll mix the breadcrumbs in with that. Now my sausage. 2 of them. I'm just going to pulse that in. And that's all mixed in quite nicely now for my stuffing. Smells really good. I'm going to take that out and put it in that bowl. Add the breadcrumbs in. Not going to hurt in there, is it? So I've got all of this in the bowl now. I'm just sort of squeeze it to make one big ball. I'm just going to sausage it out a little bit. Now divide it into 3 roughly equal parts. 1, 2. That one's a bit bigger. That will do. Roughly 3 equal parts. So I've just put the stuffing on there. Fold it over, and that bit with a bit of skin on is going to come in useful for putting it all round. Putting it all in. And there we have it. Now I'm going to tie it just to hold it together better while it's cooking. So a little bit of string. take it underneath. I'm not doing it particularly fancy, so I'm just going to put a couple of loops around it just to hold it. And like so. And cut that off. It's looking everywhere for my scissors, and they're on the side behind me. You don't have to cut it off, of course. I just think it looks neat and tidier. These aren't the best of scissors either, by the way. So I'll get on and do the other two, and I'll come back to you in a second. So there we have it. My 3 chicken thighs, all bundled up. Now I'm going to bread them. Didn't say this was going to be an easy meal to do, but now I'm going to bread them. So in my bowl, 1 egg, which I'm just forking through. This egg's very pale in colour. That's what you get for buying supermarket eggs, I guess. Right, let's whisk through on a plate. I'm going to put my breadcrumbs. Add a little sea salt. That's fine sea salt. Some black pepper. A few mixed herbs, not much, 1/4 of a teaspoon-ish, and some garlic granules. Now I'm using dried herbs here and dried garlic rather than fresh. So I find when you put it on bread and otherwise, it might burn a little bit if you use fresh. I just think the dry ones are easier to use and actually give a better result. I'm just going to basically hand all that stuff in just to give it a light mix. Now I'm going to take my chicken, roll it in my wash, and bread it. I've got my bacon tray there. I'm going to lift that straight out and straight into the bacon tray. I'm going to do the other two. The egg wash, of course, is just to make the breadcrumbs stick. Like so. A few breadcrumbs I got over. The birdies will have those. Or the ducks, swans, whatever are floating by. Clear up again. Right. Sort the veggies out. I'm going to cut them quite small because I want them to be nicely roasted at the same time as my chicken. So I'm actually going to make quite small pieces of potato. I'll throw them straight in the dish. I'm going to put some fat with them shortly. Well, I'm actually cooking for one person here, believe it or not, but yeah. Just cut that off like that. Down. Yeah, I'm going to have enough food for a couple of days here, aren't I? So there we have my roasties, or my roasting vegetables all in there, ready to go. Try and get them all touching the bottom. Put a little seasoning on them, a little salt, a little black pepper, and a couple of sprigs of rosemary I'm just going to lay over the top. So that's all ready for the oven. Oh no, it's not. These vegetables I'm doing in olive oil. I would use beef dripping quite often for doing vegetables in. The reason I'm not today is it's sort of a bit strong to flavouring, and it really does affect the taste of the chicken a little bit. So olive oil won't do that. So I'm going to turn the oven on, preheat it, and then I'm going to whack them in. Although you can actually hear the gas burner going again at the moment, it did switch itself off, so obviously it's just reheating again. I did open the oven door a little bit as well. So anyway, I'm going to get it all in. It's preheated. I'm going to open the door. Hard to do one-handed, you know, especially when you're opening it the wrong way. I hope that's pointing the right way. So open the oven up, and in it goes. I'm thinking about 45 minutes. Let's have a quick look at the time now, and I will check it in 40 minutes, but I think it's going to take 45 minutes. Right, it's 11:45 at the moment, or quarter to 12, whichever way you want to put it. I'm going to come back and check it around about 25 past 12 and see how it's doing. Well, I've just taken it out to check. You can see the chicken's just starting to brown off a little bit here. The vegetables could do with a little bit longer, and I'm just going to test the chicken as well. So I'm just going to put a knife right down in the middle of the chicken. And we'll look to see how the juices flow. The juices are clear, so the chicken is just about cooked. Another couple of minutes won't hurt it. So I'm going to put it in for about another, I don't know, probably 10 minutes. I'm not going to have very, very brown potatoes, but they'll be cooked. They're cooked anyway now. After I put those back in, I've got some water there with a little salt in. I bring that to the boil and drop my green beans in, so they're ready when the rest is. I've just taken the chicken out and put it on a plate at the back there where it's warm to let it rest. I'm going to throw the vegetables back in the oven to try and brown them up a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to get the beans on. So I'm just going to bring the water to the boil before I put the beans on. Right, as my water's just come to the boil there, I just thought I'd let you know I did take the chicken out at about 45-46 minutes, so it did take the 3/4 of an hour as I predicted. It's now been out about 8 minutes resting. Potatoes are still in the oven, or all the root vegetables are, and as that comes to the boil, I'm going to drop my beans in. So just about enough water in there to cook them. As you can see, why waste the gas heating up more water than you need? Well, I'm going to start plating up now. The beans are almost done. I have one of these pieces of chicken, like so. I am going to cut the string off, just to make it easier. I'll find where it is. So I actually made a bit of a mess of the plate there doing that. It's a bit so I should have done it before I took it off of that plate, but I wasn't thinking. Now to get out the vegetables out the oven. They've got a little bit of colour to them, but they're not over coloured, unfortunately. But there's my piece of onion. Yummy, yummy. Right. A couple of pieces of parsnip. I love roasted parsnip. Some carrots. Hold it, it's a bit hot. Potatoes. There we go. The green beans are just about to cook, so I'll just drain them quickly. So I've just drained those off over the sink. If I drain them off with the camera showing us it, well, it's probably steamed up now, but it just steams up so much you don't get to see anything anyway. So they've been drained off. I'll just add those on there like so. Well, there it is, my stuffed chicken thighs with roasted vegetables and green beans. Let's go and sit at the table and try it out. Ouch. Oh, that's a bit warm. I did pre-warm the plates, so yeah, a little bit on the warm side. Let's try it out, shall we? See the stuffing running through them as well there. Let's cut that in half and see what it tastes like. If I say so myself, not bad. It's quite garlicky, but 1 clove of garlic in such a small amount, I expected that. Of course, I did put some garlic in the breadcrumbs as well, but I like garlic. Moist, tender, and absolutely full of flavour. Well, we all know what vegetables taste like, but green beans are put to perfection. A little al dente. Unfortunately, the roasts aren't. They're cooked. I'm just going to take the rosemary leaves off of them there. I normally flip them off with my knife, but holding everything is rather difficult. They taste absolutely wonderful, even if they're not as crispy as I like them. The infusion of the rosemary going through them, absolutely brilliant. So there's one for you guys. That one's not quite so easy to cook, I know. There's quite a few steps to it. But it's well worth the effort. And it's a cheap meal. As we all know, chicken thighs are one of the cheapest things you can buy. So it's quite a cheap meal. Big thank you goes out to everybody for watching, of course. I really appreciate it, and everybody that supports the channel in all the different ways you do. I really appreciate it all. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And press the old bell notification button. That way YouTube will inform you every time I upload a new video. And if you like these cooking videos, please let me know in the comments below. And if you don't like them, let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments, and to be honest with you, everybody that leaves a comment also helps the algorithm on YouTube. That just leaves me to say, thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.